MBA for Africa series. Moving on is here. So for the webinar logistics, there's going to be a question and answer session at the end of the webinar. So everyone, you can feel free to drop your questions in the chat box and be assured that they will be all responded to. Please, in the course of this session, we should be respectful and also supportive. And we should also turn on our cameras. I encourage you to turn on your cameras. And please fill the attendance form to be eligible for fee waivers. And please don't forget to remain muted during the course of this session. Thank you. So about Lane is a platform where we leverage the power of community to open the world of possible suitable MBA programs that will help you and achieve your most honorable dream and get you into your most desired MBA program. So we're diligent to follow you through the program and ensuring that you maximize the opportunities around you. So our Lane members have gotten into these schools, and this is just a few of the schools our Lane members have gotten into. And today we are honored to be speaking with University of Pittsburgh, the admissions committee, and also current students of Katz Business School. So Lane MBA for Africa, M for A short, series aims to bridge the gap between Africans and also business schools, whereby we have partnered with admissions committee of top 10 global programs from UK, US, and also Canada. And MBA for Africa series of webinars provide Africans with the resources and knowledge that they need to understand the MBA experience and also the application process. So this is currently our third edition. We have started it some weeks back and they have been very insightful for the participants. So for MBA for Africa series, what you should expect is you get to meet global MBA programs outcome. For example, you're meeting Trade today. And also we've started the sessions before now. So it has been an ongoing session and it has been from September to November. And they're going to be on Saturdays by 2 p.m. Eastern Time and 7 p.m. West African Time. And please, you should attend these sessions because you are eligible for the application fee waivers. You have an opportunity to connect with the AdCom and also current African students. And you get to be informed on your application process and the best tips that you can build a very strong application. And yes, today we are honored to have Trey, who is the Associate Director, Student Diversity Recruitment, University of Pittsburgh. Thank you so much, Trey, for attending today's session. We also have Ene, who is a LAM 2021 scholar, and she is a Management Associate at MasterCard, and also Blessing and Carol. So thank you so much for attending today's session. So I'll be handing over to you, Trey, so you could introduce yourself, and also Blessing, Ene, and Carol too could chime in too. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to everyone. Before we start, I just wanted to send a heartfelt thank you to City of Lane for this opportunity. I mentioned on LinkedIn, it's one of my favorite events of the year, and it truly is. I am very grateful to work with you all. Every event that we've done, and I know it's only been 2 so far, but over the past few years, it's always a great experience. Have a chance to present the University of Pittsburgh to African candidates, but also highlight our successful students that we have in our program, that is Blessing and Carol and NA, who is a recent graduate. So very thankful to be here with you all today. I'm excited. I know it's 8 o'clock in Africa right now, so it's on a Saturday night. But you guys joined us today, and I'm very thankful for that. So looking forward to today's presentation. I'm going to share my screen real fast, and then we'll get started. Okay, so welcome to the University of Pittsburgh Katz Graduate School of Business, City of Lane presentation. My name is Trey Coles. I am one of the Associate Directors of Student Diversity Recruitment here at the Katz School of Business. I would like for Blessing and NA and Carol to also introduce themselves. Just maybe give a background of, their experience, their graduating class, and also, maybe what they're looking to do after they graduate. So Blessing, I see you first on the screen. If you don't mind introducing yourself first, we'll start with you.
Okay, thank you, Trey. Thank you, City of Lane. This is a very exciting opportunity. My name is Blessing Umor. I'm currently a dual candidate at University of Pittsburgh, specifically the MBA program and Masters in Information System. I'm in my second year, and I've had a very interesting and very thrilling time here at Pittsburgh, and I'm looking forward to what the future holds in store for me and to answering your questions and telling you why you need to be a candidate of the University of Pittsburgh. So feel free to ask questions, and I'll be able to answer as best as possible as I can.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ene Shulano. Before I introduce myself as an alumna, I think, of University of Pittsburgh, Lane is quite dear to my heart. I joined Lane in 2020, and I started off as a volunteer, as a community manager on our Telegram chat. And then I was also a LAM scholar in 2021. And I was also privileged to be a LAMP mentor in 2023. And in 2022, I enrolled at Katz and graduated in 2024 with an MBA and a Master's in Management Information Systems. And I'm happy to be here and to answer any of your questions. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Carol, and I'm a first-year MBA student at Katz. I'm pursuing the Business Analytics program, the MBA with Business Analytics program. Considering that I just started, I feel like I would have first-hand information for you, and I'm happy to help with whatever questions that you have. So thank you very much, and thank you, Lene, for setting this up. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, NA, Carol, and Blessing. Introduction of myself. Again, my name is Trey. I am one of the Associate Director of Admissions at the Katz School of Business. I'm also a Pitt graduate. So I graduated in 2016 with my undergrad in marketing. I'm a Pittsburgh native, been in the city my entire life, entire 31 years. I have a lot of knowledge of the city, but also of the University of Pittsburgh. I've been at the Katz School of Business it'll be 3 years in January. So I started in 2022. And it's been an amazing experience so far. And having a chance I started a little right before NA graduated, but having an opportunity to work with Blessing and Carol has been an amazing experience, and our other students from Africa. So it's been a phenomenal. So I look forward to giving you more insight of the University of Pittsburgh, but also what we can offer for our students. Today's presentation, we will do a brief introduction of the city of Pittsburgh and what we can offer at the Katz School of Business. I will dive into a few of our MBA and MS degree offerings. We'll discuss the admissions process. We'll talk about scholarship. That's also something that's really important to all of our students. And also, I want to make sure we have time to talk to NA, Blessing, and Carol. That's probably the most important part of today. And their perspective and their voice is really important. So I want to make sure that we highlight that. So I will go through the presentation. I want to make sure we have an opportunity to learn more about the city, but I do want you to hear from our current students and from our alums as well. We'll get started. So welcome to the University of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is the city of bridges. It is also ranked as one of the top places to live in the United States by Forbes, the National Geographic, but also the Places Rated Almanac. So the reason why I say that Pittsburgh is the city of bridges is because we have over 446 within the city's landscape. So we actually have passed Venice, Italy, and the sheer number of bridges that are located in the city of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is also a very vibrant city. So we have, if you're interested in music or art or theater, that is all available within the city of Pittsburgh. So the Carnegie Museum, the Andy Warhol Museum, the Pittsburgh Symphony, the Pittsburgh Ballet is all available within our city. I'm a really big sports guy. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Penguins, and Pirates are also located in the city of Pittsburgh. But more importantly for our students, but also if you're interested in tech, it's starting to become a premier technology hub. We're incorporating innovative and high-tech experience for our students and also for our natives. Corporate offices such as PwC and Google, Heinz, Duolingo, Apple, and Amazon are all located in the city of Pittsburgh. But more importantly, we have many Fortune 500 companies that have their world headquarters in the city as well. To name a few, PNC, PPG, Wesco, US Steel, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Wabtec. I have a quick video I'd like to show to you all just to give you some background of the University of Pittsburgh, but also highlight the city. So make sure you have your volume turned up. It'll be a 2-minute video, and then we'll conclude the presentation in a little bit. So. Maybe here, let's see.
Pittsburgh has long been home to world-class doers and difference makers. Together, they built an industrial superpower and then transformed it into a global innovation hub. At Pitt Business, we stand on their shoulders, firmly believing in a better future through the power of business. We're committed to preparing the professionals that business needs today and inspiring the leaders needed for tomorrow. We approach everything we do with a focus on equipping students for the future. Our world-class faculty develop insights, tools, and strategies for navigating unpredictable times. Our students build the skills and confidence needed to address complex, real-world problems. We engage continually with industry, community organizations, and each other, because a better future begins with listening to one another and lifting each other up. Today, Pittsburgh is home to incredible opportunities in healthcare, biotech, robotics, AI, energy, and climate technology. At Pitt Business, we're forging new possibilities at the intersection of the health sciences, digital transformation, and social and environmental sustainability. Working together, we will shape a better future through business, for one another, for our region, and for our world. Working together, we will produce tomorrow's doers and difference makers. Welcome to Pittsburgh. Welcome to Pitt Business. Pittsburgh.
Okay, so now we have a good idea of the city of Pittsburgh. Let's dive into the university and how we initially got established. So the university was established in 1787. It actually began as a one-room log cabin, but since then it has grown into a conglomerate of more than 50 buildings. In my background, but also on our screen, is called the Cathedral of Learning. It's probably the most popular part of Pittsburgh of our campus. It is actually the second tallest educational build in the world. Our campus houses over 33,000 students. So we're a large R1 doctoral university as one of the top research universities in the country, but more importantly in the state of Pennsylvania. And our campus houses many students, international students. So it is a very international friendly campus. So we have students that, reach out over 103 countries. More importantly, we have many students from Africa, which is from Nigeria to Ghana, et cetera. Students from China, India, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and many more. So Pittsburgh is a very safe campus, which we find for our residents, but more importantly for our students. And also the cost of living is much less expensive than what you'll find in larger cities like in New York City or Washington, D.C. or Boston. So that's something that's always really important that I like to mention, is that Pittsburgh is very affordable for international students, but also for the community as well. Research is more importantly thriving at Pitt. Pitt ranks as one of the top 10 institutions in the nation for annual research. And more than 50% of our students, typically in the undergrad space, but also our graduate students, do conduct research during their time here at Pitt. So what we offer, we offer the full-time MBA, which I'm sure a lot of you are interested in today. But more importantly, we do have a plethora of specialized master's programs. For any of our students interested in any of our doctoral or executive MBA programs, I'm happy to discuss that as well. But more so our part-time and online MBA are typically only for our domestic students. So we will focus on the full-time and also the specialized master's programs for today. Going over the list of specialized master's programs, we do offer accounting, finance, marketing science, MIS, which is Management Information Systems, supply chain management, and also management. Next to each program, you will see the little asterisk, which means these programs are STEM designated, which allows for additional OPT time, which I'm sure most students are interested in. So that allows students to stay in the States for 36 months. So these programs are STEM designated. So accounting, finance, marketing science, MIS, supply chain management are all STEM designated programs. Talking about support at the Katz School of Business, and I'm sure that Carol, NA, and Blessing will be able to discuss a little bit as well. Our career management team is available for all of our incoming students and also available to our alums as well. The career management team helps students really with career advice, with coaching, but also professional development. And more importantly, the end goal is for you to find a full-time job by the time you graduate from the University of Pittsburgh. So that is their goal, and that is what we want to make sure that we can provide for our students once they're entering a full-time MBA program or a specialized master's program. A stat that I think is really important, and is probably the most important, is that at least 85% of our students receive a job offer within 3 months of graduation. So our students are coming into Katz already successful, but then leaving the program with skills, a business background, but also finding jobs in a career field that they sought out for before starting their MBA program. And also diving into more of the career management, but also support. We help students, kind of discover more of their personal strengths, opportunities for networking, kind of building on some of those interview skills and also resume reviewing, and then assisting students with cover letter tips and reviews. And then in addition with opportunities, this program is very immersive. So there are many networking events. I had a good opportunity. I was at the National Black MBA Conference with Blessing and Carol a few weeks ago in Washington, D.C. I know Blessing just got back from the Grace Hopper Tech Conference in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So there are many opportunities where students can participate in networking, but also professional development events that allows you to have a chance to meet with some of these top organizations and companies in the country that will hopefully land into an internship or a full-time job opportunity. And also we do offer many corporate information sessions, but also club participation and leadership. So our goal is to make sure that you are successful after you graduate, and that is, slightly due to our career management team. In addition, and I won't spend too much time on this slide, but we do have many opportunities for students to find employment with some of the top companies and businesses in the world. To name a few: Amazon, Microsoft, Deloitte, PwC for our consultants, AT&T, UPMC, which is one of the top hospitals in the country, is in the city of Pittsburgh. It is also right on our campus. Deloitte, Apple, Walmart, BMS, and so many more. So very excited to add to this list for next year, but we do have, success from a lot of our alums that are getting placed in high positions, but also some of the top companies in the world. Looking over some of our full-time joint and dual degree options, and I will dive into the Signature MBA program next. But we do offer the MBA MIS program, which Carol and Blessing are graduates, which Blessing and NA are graduates of. And we do offer the MBA MIS, MBA MS in finance, MBA MS in marketing science, but also MBA MS in supply chain management. And we do have a list of joint degrees, which we partner with other schools within the university. So we offer the MBA Juris Doctor, which we're partnering with the School of Law, MBA MS in Engineering, which we're partnering with the Pitt Swanson School of Engineering, Master of Public Health and International Affairs, Masters of International Development, Masters of Social Work, and last but not least, the Masters of International Development. So these programs are all available for the full-time option. But many of our dual degrees are the more popular programs for our students, which we typically, students are able to receive a master's, but also gain the MBA program as well as a part of their program. Now let's dive into the full-time MBA program. The full-time MBA program is a 18-month program. So we're actually a little bit different than most business schools because we're able to get students kind of in and out as soon as possible compared to the full 2 years. So the program is essentially designed to be completed as a cohort experience. and only 18 months. So it typically provides you with time for a summer internship, but also you were able to include a very intensive integrated learning capstone experience during that final semester. We're looking to get students back into the workforce 4 months earlier than what a traditional 2-year MBA program would be. And then how I mentioned that the program is very hands-on with extensive co-curricular experiences, such as case competitions, community-based projects, summer internships, professional development. Those are all opportunities that students are able to participate in as you are going through the MBA program. As I'm mentioning, so for the full-time MBA and any of our joint or dual degree programs, we typically look at 3 to 5 years of full-time work experience after you graduated from your undergrad degree. So typically 3 to 5 years of full-time work. For our specialized master's programs, we don't require work experience at all. So you can, if you're right out of undergrad, if you're maybe 22 to 23, we highly encourage you to apply for any of our specialized master's programs. But if you have like 2 years or 2.5 years, you're right on that cusp of 3 years, we highly suggest you apply into our program because, if you are able to impress our admissions committee and you have great work experience, whether as a consultant or a senior analyst, you may be eligible to apply without that full 3 years. But as we dive into the MBA core curriculum, which I won't spend too much time on, and I can share these slides out with anybody who's interested, the program is a 45 credit program, the full-time MBA. These are the core courses which you'll be taking as you're in the program, which consists of 21 credits. And I'll go through a few of the classes. So financial accounting, financial management, marketing management, information systems, strategic management, and then finally the MBA capstone, which would typically be during your final semester. So this consists of the MBA program, 45 credits, and then you would work with your academic advisor to help you choose any of the electives or any of your micro-credentials that would allow you to specialize in a certain area, whether it's accounting, finance, marketing, et cetera. And as was mentioned earlier, please submit any questions in the Q&A box or in the chat box, and we will definitely discuss any questions or any section of the slide that I didn't spend too much time on, but I want to make sure I'm answering everyone's questions while I'm here. The learning format. So typically the program is very lecture-based. So you have, any text or research is required of the program, research papers, and also exams and quizzes. But we also want to make sure that the program is hands-on. So there is many opportunities for collaborative work. We're able to work in a group setting and collaborate with your colleagues, but also there are more emerging classes that are provided during weekend options as well. Okay, so more importantly, we have a few more slides left, and then we'll get to hear from a few of our speakers today. Let's dive into some of the admissions requirements to the Katz School of Business. And I get a lot of questions about the GMAT or GRE from all of our students, so we'll spend more time on that today compared to anything else. But we do need an undergraduate degree from an accredited institution, typically a 4-year degree, whether it was in accounting, finance, marketing, supply chain. But also we look at students that typically don't have a business background because we believe in diversity in the classroom, and we believe that students without a business background may have a different perspective to the class or maybe to the discussions that are in the classroom. So if you don't necessarily have a business background, then we would still happily, review your application, and we highly encourage you to apply. But also, if you don't have a business background, it may be best to submit a GMAT or a GRE. So the guidelines to waiving the GMAT or GRE is a 3.25 GPA. Or a B average in 6 or more of your quantitative courses. So most students do submit a GMAT because it is one of the ways to enhance your scholarship. So in most cases, which I will dive into scholarship in a little bit, a majority of our students do receive scholarship as they're applying to the Katz School of Business. So after you're admitted, our admissions committee will make a decision on your scholarship. If you didn't take the GMAT, our scholarship considerations is more merit-based, So we're looking at, years of work experience and how you perform academically in the classroom, whether you have a strong GPA or above a 3.25. But one of the best ways to enhance your scholarship is taking the GMAT or GRE. Typically, students that score above a 650 will receive scholarship funding on the GMAT, and any student, typically 300 on both sections, will increase your scholarship on the GRE. We are looking for at least 2 letters of recommendation. So whether a academic advisor or a previous faculty member, or maybe a supervisor or the COO of your company, those can serve as great references. So just make sure you're selecting people who can speak to your professional and also your academic abilities, to make sure that they're highlighting that your experience, but also how you'll be a great fit for our program. In addition, we're looking for an updated resume. So typically, resume has all of your previous work experience listed at the top, working on yourself all the way down. But that's the best time to highlight yourself. So if you have experience as a leader, whether any clubs or organizations, if you're a part of any community service, if you help, if you've won any achievements or any awards, or maybe you have any graduate certificates, it's always best to highlight those opportunities in your resume, because you want to be able to sell yourself the best way possible to the admissions committee, so we're able to have a very clear understanding of your background, but also some of your experience and how we can help you as you come to Katz. The written essay typically is anywhere from 200 to 250 words. And we're really looking into, we asked, one of the questions last year was, what are some reasons why you're choosing the Katz School of Business? And how do you believe an MBA would help you, but also an MBA at University of Pittsburgh would help you reach your career goals? So just make sure you have opportunities to really think through your question, think through this question, have an answer prepared of how an MBA will help you become successful, but also how we can maybe help you reach those goals after you graduate from Katz. And finally, the TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo English test is for our English proficiency exam, which is required of all of our international students, except in Nigeria. So I will be very clear on that. If you are a Nigerian student, we are able to waive the TOEFL, IELTS, or DET. And typically, the admissions committee recommends a total score of 100 or better on the TOEFL, a 7 or better for the IELTS exam, and also a 130 or better for the Duolingo English test. But the university, usually their standards are a little bit higher, which we look for at least, a little bit lower, an 80 on the TOEFL, a 6.5 on the IELTS, and also a 110 on the Duolingo English test. And then here are Katz guidelines. Again, a 100 on the TOEFL, a 120 on the Duolingo English test, and a 7.0 on the IELTS. Exemptions are given to permanent residents, citizens of degree holders from approved English-speaking countries, and then also applicants with degrees from regionally accredited U.S. institutions. So the application timeline. So the academic year would start in August for our full-time MBA or specialized master's students. The semester typically starts in late August, which we have orientation, which would begin in usually the first couple of weeks of August, so like the 1st to the 12th. And also our rounds are versus and rolling admissions. So our round 1 started on October 1st, and then our next round will be on November 1st. And also, it is very important to apply early in the cycle, because that is typically when we're the most generous with our scholarship funding. And then once we do get closer to the end of the year, but also right around March or February, our scholarships start to diminish. So we highly encourage we get an application as soon as possible, so we can provide the most scholarship money for our students. One of the best benefits and why I truly, am excited to look at applications, but more importantly, why I'm excited to be a part of the Katz School of Business, is because we do a fantastic job of getting your decision back for our students. So we like to make sure that our students have, once they're applying, their decisions are released, as soon as possible. We don't believe in making you wait, a month, 2 months, 3 months, weeks on end. We typically get back within 4 weeks, and there's many cases where we get back to students a lot sooner than that. So 4 weeks is usually the maximum amount of time that you'll wait to hear back from us. But if you're ever applying, if you ever have any questions about your application, again, please use me as a resource, reach out to me, and I'm happy to be as transparent as possible about your application. So the full-time MBA admissions deadline, so typically it is best to submit your application right around the October 1, and then you will receive your decision. It says December 15th, but that is definitely a lot later than usual. December 1st, your decision will get back to you by February 15th. And then right around this February 1 is a rough deadline for international students. We say April 15th, you'll hear back from us, but it's typically well before that. then April 1st to June 15th is like the latest for most of our students. In conclusion, so for financial aid, I mentioned merit-based scholarships are available for all of our full-time programs. In previous years, we haven't had many opportunities for graduate assistantships or teaching assistantships. That is something that our team and I have noticed from many international students, but also from all of our students, is that they're looking to gain, any work experience or have maybe a position secured for the upcoming year. So we are hopeful that there will be more graduate assistantships for next year. And many of those opportunities will be presented at sometime in January of 2025. So we are currently working on that process, but we will have more assistantships in the future. But for right now, typically our assistantships are limited, but again, that should change sometime next year. And in conclusion, every student that joined today's presentation, you will receive an application fee waiver. I know the City of Lane has a process, but also if you wanted to reach out to me directly, just feel free to email me at tac183@pitt.edu. And I'm happy to provide a fee waiver for you. If you have any questions for me, if you wanted to reach out to me on LinkedIn or through email, I'm happy to set up a one-on-one consultation with you for 30 minutes or however long you need to go over your application. But I'm very excited and honored to present to you all today. I know that my presentation went a little bit longer, but I do want to spend some time speaking to NA Carol and Blessing as well. So if you have any questions for me, I am here for you all. I'm very thankful to the City of Lane for this opportunity, and I look forward to hopefully working with you all and seeing you in Pittsburgh very again soon. So that concludes my part of the presentation. We will go back to speaking to our representatives for today. But again, if you have any questions or need anything from me, I'm happy to answer them to the best of my abilities. So without further ado, I will just, NA, you are first on our screen. If you don't mind, if you maybe could discuss, a few reasons why you chose maybe, Katz School of Business, what your experience was like. And then Blessing and Carol, if you don't mind following short after, we will go from there.
Awesome. Awesome presentation, Trey. Thanks for sharing. So for me, I chose Katz because, first of all, I was convinced by a current alum as well, Perodo. She's from Ghana. She was my mentor at Lane, my LAMP mentor at Lane. And so at that time, I had not heard about Katz, but she was a current student and she had a lot of great things to say about the school, about her experience, and even the application process. I found that it was very straightforward, and I was able to quickly, put my application together and submit by the December deadline. So I heard back quite early as well in 2022. So that was one of the reasons why I picked Katz. And then my experience in Katz was great. Like Tree said, Pittsburgh is a really nice city. It's quite safe, to be honest. I didn't really have any issues. I could work very late at night, and not feel afraid that I was going to get, in trouble or anything like that, which is different from where I'm living right now. So I miss Pittsburgh for that. So yeah. And then when it comes to the community of international students, there's a lot. So you feel the vibe of being in a diverse community. We are also neighbors with Carnegie Mellon, so we kind of like share the same road. So you see Carnegie Mellon students as well in the bus. So yes, and Pittsburgh also had a very great transportation system compared to other cities in the US, which is also very good. So I didn't see the need to get a car, right? And it was free. So I really liked that about Pittsburgh. And then my experience with Katz, it's quite intense for someone like me who had just who finished school quite a long time ago. Getting back into the zone was a bit difficult, but the professors are very accommodating and they're easy to work with. So they recognize when you're going through challenges. Like they encourage you to speak up. Don't wait to the last minute when you're having challenges. Like speak up and they will help you, get yourself on track. One example was when I took accounting. I had never done accounting before. My first accounting exam was rubbish, and I wasn't sure how I was going to survive. And So I didn't even finish the exam. Like I was in awe because I was like, wow, my first exam and I couldn't even finish. I didn't know what happens, but I was able to have a conversation with the professor to see what my, my options were on how to get back on track. And she was very kind to explain to me and tell me, look, if I get serious, because I think I had 2 more exams, that it's still possible to finish with, a very good grade. So I had to put in the work. And I did. I was able to get back on track, and I did actually do very well at the final exam. So the professors are they help, they coach you, they mentor you. So that was something I enjoyed. And not to go on a long-winded response. My final reason was the thing that kind of capped the whole experience for me was the case competition I did in my second year in spring. I had the opportunity to participate in a global case competition for Adobe with a good colleague of mine, Bishal, and we had a great mentor in Prakash Meshandani. He's also one of the awesome professors that we have, and we won the competition out of 3,400 plus teams across 24 countries. It was a superb experience, and that was one of the benefits of having the value that Katz gave me, and also being able to put my school on the map. Like, that was also a great achievement for me. So I'll hand over to Blessing and Carol to share their experiences as well.
Thank you so much, Anna. Blessing, you're next on my screen if you'd like to go next. I think you're still muted, Blessing. I think you're still muted there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you, Trey. Thank you. And then I think Ed has pretty like wrapped it all. I would say Katz is a very welcoming environment. The environment is very empowering. It's an environment that you can't go wrong in, because sharing my experience from when I got into cards to now, I know very well I'm very different because I've gained a lot. I've really developed in a lot of ways. I know coming in 2023, that was just last year, and it was the first time for me. I had like the culture shocks and all, but I had a lot of support, especially from Trey, from the professors, Professor Ellis. Everyone is more like a bit more close-knitted. Like, we look out for each other. We want to be sure that you're fine and that you're coping with whatever's thrown at you, even though it's not so much. But I mean, it's a very good experience. It's mind-blowing, because from when I stepped into cards, I've had several opportunities, all thanks to the grad school, all thanks to Joseph M. Katz Business School. I remember going to Philadelphia last year for the conference where we did the casing with Raven and Co. It was all fully paid by the school. So imagine getting the exposure of visiting other states, other universities, in terms of like networking events, all thanks to cards. It's been a very great experience for me. Also, during the summer, sharing the experiences with other students as well, and being able to compete is one of the things I really like cards for. All thanks to cards, I've had the competitive edge. I remember going to Bank of America last year, and I remember how high my shoulders were because I had a very good background from Joseph M. Katz Business School. So these are things you really want to look out for when you're making your choice. And I would really tell you, because I'm in the program here, I'm giving you firsthand information that you have the support you need. The networking is top notch. You are meeting up with other candidates. You are competing in the space out, and I can really tell you it's very competitive out here. So you need to be very strategic in who you're networking with, especially if you want to make your school's choice. So if you're making the choice of Joseph M. Katz Business School, you are not going wrong, because you have the support, you have the networking. We have executives in residence. These are like executives that have over 20 years experience in the industry currently. They are grooming you and teaching. Imagine going to be groomed by an industry professional before you actually go for that interview. I think that's a big deal. That's really a lot. And Katz is always ready to take the feedbacks from us students. In my class, we have like I would say we have a lot of CEOs that are actually starting up their company. So imagine that leverage you have already knowing the CEOs that you know in the next how many years they're going to be so major out there. And it's like you firsthand having that information with them. I remember this year, I also went to I was at DC, like Trey said, for the National Black event. I had a very thrilling time. I also just got back from the Grace Hopper conference at Philly just a few weeks ago. It was a conference of women in tech. This was an opportunity, all thanks to my school. Like these are opportunities that if you speak to other people from other school, you may not hear stuff like this, and you may not really understand it that way. But being here, I've been so opportune to like navigate the process, network, and there's this. You're not scared to go to any professor to like share your feedback, and you have to like, okay, I'm losing out here. How can I catch up? They're always ready to assist, always ready to make that call for you to get through. So Katz is a very welcoming, and I need not even talk about the environment. And I said it all. You can pretty walk here in the night, and it's really safe. And forget about your color, your complexion. You are very welcome here. You make friends, and that's so very rare from other communities when you hear. Like here, it's so welcoming. People great. In terms of the food, well, I don't know, but depending on you, just your choice. But what I'll just end this with is I'd say if you're picking cards, it's the best choice for you. It's a whole lot. In fact, it's overwhelming that you may not even be able to exhaust the whole opportunities, but the little that you can get, it's a lot to take with. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Blessing. You and NA can sell Pitt better than I can, honestly. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Carol, you're last but not least for sure.
Yes, thank you so much, and Blessing for the updates. It looks like they've said it all, but I'm just like I mentioned, I'm a recent intake, so I would share my experience as well. Prior to applying, there are some things that I considered, which I'm sure most of you are considering as you're coming in. The first one was the ease of the application. Like they said, it was very easy to apply. I remember the day I saw the ad and I was like, look, I want to apply to this school. I called Erin and she was so quick. She was like very upfront with the feedback. There were no delays in the process. Katz was one of the schools that got back to me very fast. So I really appreciated the ease of that application, especially because we're international students. You know, the visa processing you have to go through, all of that can be cumbersome. So you want a school that's hands-on. And when I was having some challenges with the visa process as well, I was able to reach out to the OIS team. They were very helpful. They did what they could and given the circumstance. So that's one thing to look out for. Another thing would be cost of living. I'm sure you all know US education is very expensive. So any school that's giving you very good funding, I would say take it. And Katz is very good at that. I think they were very helpful with the funding that was provided. The second thing to look at is faculty. For me, with my background, I was already working for a while, so I was looking for people that had industry experience as well, not just like in academia, but also have industry experience. And that's one thing I can say about the Katz faculty. My accounting professor, she has the similar background as me. She has been with PwC for years. So I think when I started in the beginning, she set up a call with me quickly just to get an understanding of my background. You have this one-on-one interaction with your professors. They are not like far away. It's just an email or even a phone call away. Case in point is last night. I have an accounting exam coming up on Monday. I had a question. I emailed my professor. I'm not saying you should do this, but I emailed her around 10 p.m. last night and she responded. And Trey can also confirm this. Like I would email you, I would call you, but they are always ready to help. Trey in particular is always, how can I help you, Carol? How can I help you, Carol? I end up calling him sometimes. I feel like I'm even stressing him, but he's responsive. Like he'll get back to you. He'll give you that confidence that like we can do this together. So that's very helpful, especially coming into a new environment where you don't know anybody. The first time I made a phone call to Trey, he was like, let's meet up. Like there was no no, it was just straightforward. So the support you get from the school is so important. It's so, so important. I can't overemphasize that because your ability to go and meet your professor. I remember one lady, NMA just mentioned Prakash. I was struggling with statistics. That's something I haven't done before. And I said, Prakash, this is a struggle. And he's like, don't worry, we'll get through it. He set up time to walk through things with me, which is very important. So you actually need that support. And then we have the career management team. For most of you, I believe after this MBA, you want to make sure the skills that you have gained, you're able to transfer that to your employers. The career management team helps to fine tune that, looking at your resume, your skills, your experience, what you can do. That's very helpful, especially navigating the working environment in a different country that you haven't been before. As Blessing mentioned, we also have the executives in residence. They help you like for things that you want to do, how to position yourself for the job market. Remember, there are 1,001 candidates just like you, and you want to make sure that you stand out in that number of people applying. So these executives in residence are helpful with that. You'd also be assigned a career management professional to help you, dedicated to you, to like seeing your progress throughout the school, which I think is very, very helpful. And then the networking opportunities, obviously Katz has like these alumni in like good places. For instance, NS with MasterCard. Occasionally they will arrange some of these meetings for them to come to the school and speak to you. And this is an opportunity for you to engage and, network. You need to network and you just need to network. So these networking opportunities are very important. I think last week we had aspirants, one consulting firm come over to the school to network with us, and it was an opportunity for us to ask our questions, network, and then apply for these jobs as well. So those are the things I would look out for: the ease of application, cost of living, faculty, the career management, and then the networking opportunities that the school presents. And I think Katz does a great job with all of this. So yes, thank you. That's my take.
Carol, thank you. You guys are great. And I'm very thankful to have a chance to know you three and many of our other African students and the friendship that I've built with. I know that Carol and Blessing, I know that we're closer because I started, I was here, whenever you guys came in NA, I was, you were leaving as I was coming in. But again, I'm very thankful for you guys and appreciate everything that you've done for Katz. But I love to see you guys doing well and succeeding, because that means that Katz has done our job. But on another end, I want to make sure that we're as transparent as possible, because I know that, coming to the States for African candidates is very challenging. And I also want to make sure that it is the return of investment is there for our students. So maybe and Blessing, if you wanted to start first, because now you're at the top of my screen, what challenges did you face, or what are some things that you'd like to maybe tell the audience about? Some issues that you face while you're in the program or coming to the States, or like, what struggle did you have while you're here in Pittsburgh?
Okay, thank you for that question. So, part of the struggles I had when I came was the cold.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
wasn't so prepared for the weather. Oh my goodness.
yeah, yeah,
And I remember, even though I had a few people that talked to me, like, okay, you need to get this kind of weather outfits, I wasn't really ready. And I remember Professor Elise, our accounting professor, she called me to her office and was like, Blessing, this is just September, you're shivering. You need to go get this. She was so motherly to me. That was a challenge for me. And she was able to help me navigate that process. And also in terms of the culture shock, oh my God, nothing prepared me for that, because I had a pretty good experience back home. So coming here, I used to hear the imposter syndrome thing. But when I got here, the support I got from my classmates, even though they're from different countries, different experiences, it really helped me navigate that process. So I would say, even though these things, no matter how people tell you about it, you may experience it differently, but the support you get from those around you are actually things that would help you get better at the process. Yeah. So, I mean, and I also it's been a long time I was in school before I came here. So that was also a challenge for me, but I was able to navigate that process. So far
yeah.
as the answer is just having the right support team. Once you have the right support team around you, you can always get through it no matter what. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Blessing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Carol or NA, any challenge that you faced or anything maybe different from what Blessing mentioned about coming to Pittsburgh?
Yeah. I think in my case, the challenge was finding accommodation, mainly because my visa issues just took too long. So by the time I got here, people have taken up all the spots that are on campus or close to school. So finding accommodation was a bit hard for me. Also, I have been working for a while before doing this. So getting back into the whole learning and studying, that's something you should consider. And I feel you need to plan for it. I mean, with planning, anything is achievable, right? But I know when I started for the first few weeks, I just said, oh, we just have 2 lectures a day. That's fine. The rest of the day is mine. No, there's a lot going on. Like you have assignments every now and then, you have exams every now and then. So you need to plan. You need to have good planning to be able to succeed. Otherwise, you realize you're always falling short. And I think over time I've picked that up. So those are the two things I would say. I have lived in the US before, so the other culture shocks were not really there for me. But as with the program itself, like finding a place to live in Pittsburgh, and there are a number of them, there are a number of resources that can help you do that, but also planning very well for the program. It's essential. Thanks.
Thank you, Carol. Anything else to add?
Yeah, so I had some similar challenges to Carol. When I landed 2 days before orientation because I also had visa challenges as well. And so, yeah, I didn't have a place to stay, but thankfully Pearl accommodated me. And yeah, getting a place was also challenging because, folks had come in earlier, but it worked out in the end because I was able to find a very great accommodation, but it was a bit far from school, but I was able to get like a direct bus to school and it was very affordable. It was the Pittsburgh Theological Seminary, and it was very affordable. So I ended up staying there throughout my time there. Like my rent it covered electricity, it covered waste, it covered different things, which now I'm missing because now I have to pay all those things in different batches. So yeah, I liked that place. And another challenge was the academic rigor. So I graduated 2011 from my undergrad. So I had like a really wide gap. So coming back to school, I think during the orientation, I shed a few tears. I asked myself, who sent me? Nigerian folks can relate. I sat down, I said, who sent me? Why am I here? But, but thankfully, I wasn't the only one. I was able to see that it's not different. Everyone would go through that experience, but you just need to go through it, so there's no way to say it. You just have to experience it for yourself, right? The MBA is rigorous and it's not just in Katz. Different schools have it. So, and everyone has their own different ways of coping with it. But again, the professors are there to help. So it was easy to, ease my way through and I was able to get into a rhythm. And then, yeah, like Blessing said, winter was also a bit different, right? And sometimes you have classes during the winter at night. So you would go to class, you're expected to be in class. So yes, sometimes it was a challenge walking from the bus stop to class because it was super cold. But yeah, you adjust. The human body is created to adjust and tolerate things. So yeah, I guess those were the main challenges for me, right? During my time at Katz, but you get over it as you adjust as time passes. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Renee. And since you are Blessing, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I wanted to quickly add to what Ene said. The program is very rigorous. Like no matter the school you go to, business school is a lot. Oh my God, please be prepared for that. And then I also wanted to quickly, I saw a question in the chat box. Somebody asked, tell me more about the essay. Is it same as personal statement or statement of purpose? So I wanted to quickly chip in a few points to address that. So for the essay parts, looking at my own experience, I would say write an essay that is personal to you. Make it personal to you, like share your experience. Those experiences you are really proud of that makes you outstanding. Don't just make it a normal walk in the park of, oh, this is why I want to go to Pittsburgh, and then you're just saying the basic thing. Make sure it's outstanding. Share it. We want to hear the stories. I'm sure Adcom wants to hear the stories. Like what makes you extra? What's that outstanding thing about you? Write it like a movie, something you relate to, very real. Because I tell you, there are a lot of applicants that would put in their applications. And of course, not everybody's going to get in, which is the truth. So whatever makes you stand out, just do that through your essay. Write out your story in a very captivating way. That's how I'm going to just put it. Thank you.
Blessing, thank you so much. And while you're unmuted, if you don't mind, it's one of the last questions. Could you maybe discuss what a typical day is like for an MBA student? Like whenever you wake up to when you go to sleep at night, like what is your day like as a Katz Graduate School of Business MBA student?
Okay. Thank you for this question.
Sure.
I feel like I'm the right person to answer this because I'm a typical Nigerian student. Let me put it that way. Typical Nigerian student in the sense that I like to mix I like to have a good work-life balance. So sharing my story on how I'll typically start my day. My day starts very early as 5, I'm up. I mean, it's Nigerian blood. I'm sorry, I can't stop that. So wake very early. I go through a little form of reading. Just that morning read is very important for me. And then sometimes I have classes as early as, I remember when I started in the first year, I had classes as early as 8. Oh my God. If there's cold, please, just don't worry. Double the outfits, you'll be fine. And then you go to class. Sometimes you may have 2 classes in a day.
Yeah.
But if you're having 2 classes in a day, it doesn't mean you're really free because you have assignments that may be due that very day. The deadline is always 11:59. Even though you can always, like chat your professor, like, Professor, can I get extra time? But I mean, you need to be ready to do the assignments without giving excuses. So do put in my assignments, and there's always coffee chats. In the midst of going around the school, doing assignments and going for classes, you have projects to do. You still need to fix in time for projects. You still need to fix in time to make friends. Remember, this is a new place. For me, school, make friends, do my projects, do my assignment, I still live my life. So it's a pretty work-life balance structure for me. So now it depends on how the incoming candidates want to structure themselves. But another tip I'd like to give in is when you come in, don't be a stranger. Some people are really not really outgoing, but just try to like network with people, especially people that are almost similar to you. They could share tips, be so welcoming. Tolani is not here, but she's an alumni right now. She was so helpful in me settling into the process. I remember coming here, I stayed with her for a few weeks before I got my place. It's just very helpful for you to network with someone that's almost similar to you. Not similar, you find with the process. Work-life balance, very important. No matter how hardworking you want to make your day, just work, class, projects, still live your life, go for drinks after classes. I mean, it's still part of it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Blessing. Thank you. And thanks for mentioning Talani. And I know NA mentioned Pearl Doe. They're phenomenal, great alums, and they're really, they do a great job of giving opportunities, insight to Pitt business, but also the Katz School of Business. So yeah, they are phenomenal. So thank you for bringing that point up. Carol, I know that you've only been in Pittsburgh for a few months. But what is your favorite part of Pittsburgh? Like, what do you like? Have you tried any like Pittsburgh like based foods? Have you been to like a Pittsburgh like restaurant? Like, what about the city do you like? Or what?
I think I was quite impressed with downtown. I went to downtown last night again, and I was telling my friend, I actually like the downtown here. Like I mentioned, I used to live in the US before in California, and like you hear a lot about San Francisco and all of that. But the residential areas in Pittsburgh looks a bit. It doesn't look as modern if you ask me. But when I went to downtown, it's very comparable to places like San Francisco, to New York, and places like that. So I think that's one thing that was quite impressive for me. And I like the fact that the school is based downtown. So as you come out, you get the full experience, the full downtown feel, which is something that sticks out to me. Yeah.
Yeah, and absolutely. Downtown is a great time. I spent a lot of time down there for sure. So if any of the attendees are into like nightlife or music, or restaurants or just enjoying themselves, our campus is usually like 5 to 10 minutes from downtown Pittsburgh. And I don't know who mentioned it, I think Carol might have mentioned it, but public transportation is fairly seamless. As a Pitt student, you have access to go basically anywhere within the city, as long as you have your Pitt ID card. So yeah, it's very close to downtown. So thank you for mentioning that, Carol. NA or Blessing, anything about the city of Pittsburgh that you maybe didn't think that you would like, but you liked? Is it like the pierogies? Is it the pizza? Permani's Brothers? What about Pittsburgh do you like? If you wanted to share with the audience today.
So for me, I did a lot of cooking myself, but there was
Yeah.
this Thai food truck that was close to school. I really, really, really liked that Thai food truck. Like it was sometimes I would just stock up for the week instead of cooking. So I also liked downtown actually. Initially I didn't, but I think after a year after, like it had like a total revamping and downtown became really nice. Like I went there before I graduated, I was like, wow, things are different. So yeah, I had a direct bus from my house to downtown, which was super, super great. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to see a game, but I know the Steelers are very, they have a huge fan base in Pittsburgh. And I think that those are one of my regrets. I didn't get to see a game. And so those were those things that I liked.
And that definitely is unfortunate. You couldn't make a game, but if you're back in but if you're back in Pittsburgh, I will take you to one. You have to experience it. It's definitely a good time. So yeah, definitely let me know for sure. Blessing, last but not least, anything about the city of Pittsburgh? I know you're graduating soon. What will you miss, or what did you enjoy about being in Pitt?
Funny enough, aside the weather, I
Yeah,
love Pittsburgh. The scenery, oh my goodness. And I take pictures a lot, so the scenery is everything. It's so beautiful. I've been opportunity to be at a game. I mean, Liverpool
yeah.
came to Pittsburgh. I went there, even though I'm not so football funny. I went there and I actually enjoyed the experience. And for the food, I cook a lot. I cook a lot personally. So that's one thing I haven't really accustomed myself to here. But I really enjoy coffee because coffee
Yeah.
keeps me alive here. So that's what I can really reach out to in terms of food. But aside from that, the environment, the scenery is everything. Oh my God, it is so beautiful. And it's some I hope whatsoever I get to move to would be as fine, if not finer. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Blessing. Again, thank you to NA, Blessing, and Carol for their time today. I'm very thankful for them. I really appreciate everything. I see there's a lot of great questions coming through the Q&A box. There's a lot of questions actually, and I do want to be mindful of everyone's time. I know it is, I think, like 9 o'clock right now for you all. So I want to make sure we have some time to answer questions. So City Lane, I know that you have a process with questions. But I wouldn't be remiss with saying, if you wanted to reach out to me, please email me, add me on LinkedIn. Let's spend some time to talk, whether on Zoom or through Teams or whatever works best for you. But thank you to everyone who joined today. I'm very thankful for you all, and thank you for your time today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and all the best with your applications. Bye.
Well, yeah, so if anyone, thank you so much for the wonderful presentation, Trey, Ene, Carol, and Blessing. It's been really insightful. Even I am very convinced about Katz. And, for anyone who is willing to make an application, like they've said, do not hesitate to reach out to them on LinkedIn and other platforms. But if anyone else has questions, please, this is your opportunity to raise your hands now and ask your questions before they jump off. So if you've got questions, it would be nice to sort of make an impression, raise your hands, ask thoughtful questions, and kind of like differentiate yourself from the pack. So we've got Harmony, we've got Okpeyemi. Who else? Before we close out, we need to note the number of people that we have that are interested in asking questions before closing out. Okay, we've got 4 people. Okay, let's start off with Harmony. Harmony, feel free to unmute yourself and introduce yourself, then ask your question. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much, Troy, Carol, Enye, and Blessing for the wonderful presentation. I mean, I've really learned a lot more about cards, and I'm very happy and glad that I had submitted and looking forward to get a favorable response. I just wanted to know when a student gets admitted, are they going to be added to like a platform to meet with other students to look for accommodation space and get to understand better on how to navigate through coming to the US? Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
Great.
you.
Oh,
Do you mind if I take this one?
absolutely.
Okay. Thank you for your question. Yes, you would be added to a platform. There would be a group chat to address some of these things. And normally people would like to pair with other people. So in the group chat, you would have access to your other colleagues that are coming and be able to find accommodation together. Also, there are some Facebook pages that you'd be added to for Pittsburgh community where you're able to find accommodation. So all that information will be shared with you. Also, I would just like to add that I think somebody asked this question in the chat, which I responded to. So for some of your questions, you may want to just scroll through the chat just to be sure it hasn't been addressed already before you ask that again. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Carol. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. I think the next person is Apayemi. Please, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Trey, Carol, and a blessing, and City of Lane for putting this together. So, I have a few questions. So the first one is, I know the GRE is optional, but you mentioned it's a data point that is looked at when considering scholarships. So, what's the average or the 80th percentile range that Katz typically look at? That's my first question. Then the second question, so I'm just checking out Katz, to be honest. It was not on my list of schools. So I'm still checking, but for someone whose post-MBA goal is to be a senior product manager, are there courses in the curriculum that speak to my interest? And also, do you have people that have gone through this path that when they finish their MBA, they get product manager roles? Then also, my last question, the scholarships, what's the average like? What's the least you give? What's the maximum you give? So yeah, those are my questions. Thank you.
OPMA, thank you so much for your questions. And I'm very excited to hear that you're interested in cats. To answer your questions, the average GRE score typically is anywhere from a 300 to 325. Anything above a 325 would land you scholarship. Typically for the GMAT, we're looking at a 650, 325 or so on the GRE. So as I mentioned, every student is reviewed for scholarship. So typically once a student is admitted, our admission committee makes a decision. Usually students start out right at like 20,000 and then it can be increased. I think the highest scholarship we give out is right around $66,000. Unfortunately, we don't offer like full funding. I know a lot of students ask about full funding opportunities. But in most cases, students are able to work part-time on campus, which is something that we're working on for this year, but also next year. And also, yes, absolutely. Our team works very closely with students that are interested in becoming a product manager. That's where our career management will come into place. I know we have many opportunities within the city of Pittsburgh, but also many of our alum offer courses and also certificates to get into product management too, or project management. So that is definitely available for our students, and we have opportunities for students as well. So just make sure you tell your career advisor, and we'll make sure we put our best to put you in a good situation to reach your full-time job opportunity.
Let me also add to what you said, Trey. So, in terms of the scholarship, it depends on your profile. Like your profile says a lot in terms of the scholarship. So if you're doing the GRE, the GMAT, your professional experience, it matters. Because I know somebody that got at least over 100 in scholarship last year. So it depends on your profile. And so it's not one cap fits size all. So it depends on
Yeah.
your profile. That's how your scholarship is going to be determined. Like he said, the AdCom will sit on it and decide based on that. And for the product management question, yes, you have a lot of opportunities to go into that. I had a chat with Google just 2 weeks ago on product management role, and this is me that never had experience in product management. How much more someone that has a form of experience in that? So yes, there's no cutting to the kind of exposure you get on that. Definitely you will.
Thank you so much for clarifying, Blessing. That was really insightful. And thanks,
Thanks,
Troy,
Blessing.
as well. The next person is John. John, could you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Okay, thank you, Emeka. Thank you, Blessing, and every other person. It's just a follow-up question to the last question. I wanted to ask pertaining scholarships, because I applied last year. Okay, no, this year. Yeah, I applied this year. I got my also resume August, and I got well, I don't know if it's significant, yeah, but I got a good amount in scholarship from the that's like the entry merit scholarship. But I wanted to ask, at least from the current students, if there are like external scholarships or other funding sources you are aware of other than the that's like the entrance scholarship. Yeah.
Okay, I think I can answer that, John. So, thank you very much for that question. Yes, there are other forms of scholarship, but like I said, it all depends on your profile. It all depends on your profile. So when you get to school, you can also get on-campus jobs that could actually help you. And depending on your profile and how competitive you are, there are a lot of fellowships that you get chosen for, like I mean, you participate in, and it comes with some form of funding. And there are also like a lot of casings that you can do, depending on your diligence and how focused you are. Definitely, you could even get more than enough. I know the casing for National Black is about $50,000, right? There's also the one NA1. I mean, you could, and the school is not going to take the money from you. So yes, there are other sources that you can get funds from.
Yeah. Absolutely. And John, congratulations on being accepted to Katz. That's a huge accomplishment, and I'm happy to answer any questions for you. If we need connected to Blessing, NA, or Carol afterwards, please let me know. We'd be very lucky to have you in Pittsburgh. So congratulations on your acceptance for sure.
Well, thank you so much. I think the next person is Faith.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good evening. Thank you very much for hosting this session, and thank you very much for spending enough time talking about life outside of studies. That was my highlight of this session. My question, I don't know if it's been answered because I know someone asked, but I would just like to ask again. It's about the round 2 deadline. Someone had asked that if you're writing your GRE after the round 2 deadline, is it possible that you start your application to submit and then update with your test scores when it's out?
Yeah, absolutely. So Faith, just make sure whenever you're submitting your application, if you can contact the admissions office and let them know that you're planning to maybe take the GRE or GMAT again, just so we can mark your application. That's not a problem at all. If you maybe took the test one time and think that you can improve yourself, then by all means submit another test score. But just either reach out to myself or our admissions team, and then we will mark your application for you, and you can submit, maybe a higher test score after your application is submitted. So absolutely.
Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, the next person now is Cecilia.
Oh, I think Faith literally just asked my question, so thanks, I'm good.
That's great. Then can we move to Oluwafemi? Please, can you unmute yourself? We can hear you if you're speaking.
Hello, everyone. Good day. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. I really appreciate everyone for hosting this session. It's been very, very revealing and quite insightful as well. So basically my questions I asked in the chat box, and I've not gotten any response to them. So I'll just do a run through. So firstly, I would like to know that I saw that Katz uses some sort of centralized application portal, because I tried checking ahead and I can't remember what's called now, but you have centralized sort of portal where you have so many other schools and programs and what have you. Putting this in perspective, I'm wondering how exactly is it we get to incorporate the application fee waiver when we
Yeah.
get the waiver and we are on the verge of applying. Also, I would like to know what really is the application rate for international applicants like. And my other question on scholarship and funding has been answered basically, but yeah, I would also like to know with someone in the background, and because I have a first degree in geography and a second in geographical information systems. I already have a master's, so to say. But then I'm an associate of the leading HR body in Nigeria. That's the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management. Also, I'm a member of the Nigerian Institute of Management. So I'm looking at going into organization behavior, that part of the MBA. So I'm just trying to know what would you say the chances of someone like myself is saying here, my academic degrees have been away from the business sphere. Although here now I'm a member and associate of one or two business or HR bodies as the case is. I already have a GRE 327. So I'm just trying to know what do you feel is the overview or the general view of my chances. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Oluwafemi, thank you so much for your question. And I suggest that you apply. It sounds like you have a great background. You took a GRE, which sounds like you did well. I think you definitely should apply. And if you wanted to maybe speak like one-on-one after this, sometime next week, I'm happy to maybe look at your academic transcripts and do a deeper dive into your application. So highly suggest that you apply. I know that you asked about a application fee waiver. So if you wanted to reach out to me directly, I know City of Lane has their process, but I will put on the screen, actually, if I can share my screen again, I will share my email address. Just reach out to me and I will send that fee waiver code over to you. You will submit that fee waiver code at the end of the application. I think it's one of the last pages. But one thing I did want to mention to all the students on the call is to please not pay anything, because once you pay, we're not able to refund you after you submit your application. Just make sure that you reach out to myself before you submit anything, and I will send that fee waiver code over to you. But yeah, I think it will be best if you and I met, maybe on Zoom sometime next week, so I can, look at your transcripts and make a probably a better evaluation. But it sounds from your background and also your interest, I think that we could definitely, we suggest that you apply to Katz for next year.
Sure. Thank you, Troy. To my other question.
Sure.
Can I say that, Oluwafemi, I think you have a great profile, and I would really encourage you to apply because the business program is a very diverse program. Like there are a lot of different people from different experiences in the program. And if you're going to be one of the diverse ones, I mean, why not? It makes you stand out. So
Sure.
I would definitely encourage you to apply. And when you are writing your statement of purpose, you need to state it clearly why you are distinct and how you would perform well. Because remember, the business program is very rigorous. So those are things you want to highlight. So you have a good profile. I would encourage you to apply and give it a try. And like Trey said, meet up with him. He's your number one go-to helper right now. So
Yeah.
meet up with him to pull that out.
Thank you,
right,
Blessing. Thank you for sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Gabriel, can you unmute yourself and ask your question quickly, please?
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Trey, and the team for this beautiful presentation. So I'll just take it a bit from where Femi stopped. I think we have a similar background. But earlier on during the presentation, when Trey was showing us the curriculum for the MBA program, I saw a bit of economics, analysis, and some other courses that are new to me because I'm coming from the administrative background. My first degree was in public administration. So my question now is that does Katz has any resource that could help students on getting into that can help you when you get into the business school, so you could begin to familiarize yourself with what you're going to face ahead during the semester. I think it was Blessing or someone that said she had never done financial accounting. Then meeting it at the business school was a bit of a challenge. So if there are resources to help students prep ahead before you get, while you're in business school, maybe on entry, that will help. Do you people have that resource available? And in any case, what